Hi everyone. So today I'm going to tell you how to participate in discussion groups in this class. All right, so let's discuss what discussion groups are, how they're going to work. So in chemistry lab this semester, you're going to be given some labs that are very open-ended. There's not going to be one certain answer. There's going to be many different answers that can be worked many different ways. And your discussion group is going to be essentially a sounding board for you. So a way to test those ideas, get feedback for them, and generally help each other out as you're doing something that is very creative and open-ended. So like I said, this is going to be a good place for you to get feedback from group members, ask a classmate for help if you're stuck, and vice versa. They can ask you for help if they're stuck, and help each other work through these roadblocks that you're running into. So input from others from your group is going to be very helpful in the chemistry lab. Here's essentially an overview of when we're going to be doing things. So the first week, we've got your equipment training, and you're going to be watching all of these welcome videos like this one in order to help you understand what we're doing and how we're going to be doing it. Then the next week, we're going to go into your first lab, and there's going to be a discussion group. And if you'll notice over here on the right, I've got different grading methods for these different assignments. So your equipment training is going to be graded on accuracy, whether or not you get the right amount. However, because your labs are going to be very open-ended and there's a lot of different answers, you're going to be graded on a rubric as opposed to, say, getting the correct answer or not correct answer, because there's a bajillion different correct answers. And your discussions are going to be graded on participation, whether or not you show up and you do what you're asked to do. And if you'll notice, we have a discussion group pretty much every other week whenever there is a lab occurring. So there's a pre-lab the week before to get you used to the software, get you used to what's going on in the math. And then the next week is where you're going to start utilizing that to answer more complex questions. So here's an example of a rubric that you might be graded on for your labs. So instead of saying, the answer is 42, the answer is a lot of different things. So you're going to be graded on whether or not you complete the assignment, whether or not your description of how you did things is clear, whether or not it's a well thought out process. You're going to be graded on whether or not the graphs that you make represent the methods that you told me you were doing, or that they prove the points that you're trying to prove, or show the results that you're talking about or showing, that sort of thing. And then there's an other category, because labs are different and there may be other criteria that you're graded on. This will be posted on the assignment, so you'll be able to see it ahead of time before you complete your assignment. Here's how discussion groups are going to work for these open-ended labs. So you are going to need to schedule to meet with your discussion group outside of class time. So unfortunately, this has to happen because of the weird schedule with equipment training. You're just going to find that probably one of your group members is doing equipment training during class time at some point, and it's not going to work. If it does happen to work, that's great. Go with that. But just know that that may be a possibility that it's not going to be able to happen. So you'll be needing to meet on our discussion weeks, which I showed you were oftentimes biweekly. And you're going to be meeting on Zoom because I need you to record your meetings so that I can see that you held them, since I'm not going to be there. These need to be at least a minimum of 30 minutes. So you can run longer if your group decides to do so, but you are only required to meet for 30 minutes in order to get your participation grade. After you're done with the meeting, what you're going to need to do is to post a link to the meeting recording on the discussion board for your discussion group. So that's so I can see that you guys met, that everybody was there, and that you talked about chemistry related things, okay? That's all that is. So I just need to be able to see that you completed that, because it is a completion grade. And then also on the discussion board, I need you to post your takeaways from the meeting. So what you learned from the meeting, what you discussed during the meeting. It can be any of these things or just one in particular, whatever you want to post. Just something that you took away from the meeting so that I can see how you guys are interacting and what you're learning. Another thing that you can also post, which is optional, is any questions that you have for other students on the board. This can happen any time of week. Any questions that you have for your instructor on the board as well. So Dr. Kaw and I could see the questions that you post. So say maybe your group members can't answer a question during your meeting and you want to ask your instructor, that's a fine place to list a question. You can also contact us in a multitude of other ways, email, GChat, whatever you want, Snapchat. We are available for you to ask questions of. So for your participation grade, which is either a 100% for doing everything or a 0 for not doing everything, those are the only 2 grades that are available, you need to do the following things. Attend your 30-minute meeting with your group members, upload the recording to the discussion board, and then post a takeaway from the meeting. So this takeaway is each student needs to post this. So it can't be one for the entire group. Each student needs to post one. Do know though that if one of your group members doesn't post their takeaway and you do, you won't be penalized for that. They will receive a 0. You will get a 100% if you did all of the other work. So you don't need to hold them accountable for posting. That's up to them. As long as the link to the Zoom video is a group effort that does need to get up there. Somebody needs to do that at some point. Okay, so it's all or nothing for that grade. It's either a 0 or 100, and that's all you have to do for it. Now, every couple of weeks, we're going to be rotating discussion groups because I want you to meet all of your other classmates and to work with them. At the end of the semester, you're going to be choosing your group members for the last lab that we do for the project. And so I want you to have a multitude of people to choose from. In the past, other students have really enjoyed this. So I think you guys will also enjoy rotating and meeting new people in the class. Here's how this is going to work. You're going to rotate 3 times this semester. So for your first lab, your first 2 labs, actually, you're going to be working with the same group. I don't want to change things up too early because I want you to get used to chem labs first. So you'll be working with that group. Then when we get to lab 4, you're going to change to a new group, and then lab 5, new group, and then you'll be working with the project and you'll request your group members for that last one. Now, because you are going to be in a group and you're going to be talking about work, you're going to be talking about homework and assignments and whatnot, I want to be clear about this distinction between collaboration and plagiarism. Okay, so your discussion group is going to be collaborating a lot. And a good example of collaboration is, say, attempting your assignment first and then you get stuck somewhere. And so you go to your discussion group and you're like, how can I get through this? Like, I'm not sure what to do next. And they can give you some ideas, kind of generally point you in the right direction, and then you can go about your business and finish the assignment. And vice versa, this is also great. If another student comes to you and they're like, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, you can give them some ideas. Another great thing to do, especially if it's math-based, is to give them some online resources. So if they come to you and they're like, I don't know how to do this math, you can be like, oh, hey, check out this cool webpage that I found that has this exact same math problem on it for you, or an example for you. And that can be a useful way to collaborate with each other. Maybe you're very wishy-washy about an idea and you just don't know, like you looked at the assignment, you're like, well, maybe I could do that, maybe I could do this, I'm not really sure, and you come to the meeting and you're really not sure. Your group is going to be a really great place for you to put some of those things out there and then let them kind of help you connect the dots and get to a space where you've got like a plan in place. And then you can go do that plan on your own and answer the questions on your own. But they're going to help you put the pieces of that plan together. That's a good use of collaboration. Another thing you can do to collaborate together is to double check each other's work. So you could look at the math, you could look at the graphs, make sure they make sense, that sort of thing. That's totally fine to do. Now, here's the difference between collaboration and plagiarism. Plagiarism is copying somebody else's work. So this is when you're explicitly doing their work for them. Okay, it's fine to get ideas from each other, but at the end of the day, you should be writing your own words. You should be doing the assignment yourself. Okay, nobody else should be doing that assignment for you. An example of plagiarizing is when you split a work with a classmate. So maybe you do part A and they do part B, and then you mix them together and turn them in. Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to see that your part A's are exactly the same and your part B's are exactly the same, which is plagiarism. Okay, that is copying from someone. So do not turn in the exact same written answers as someone else. Again, that's exactly what that is. Another thing in this course that you're going to find is you're going to be making a lot of graphs and you're going to be doing data analysis. You cannot copy each other's graphs and copy each other's data. This is going to be very evident when I go to look at your paper, and the method that you described that you did, the steps you performed and whatnot, don't match your data and don't match your graph. Or I look at somebody else's graph and it looks exactly the same. I will see that, So make sure you're doing this on your own. The purpose is for you to be able to graph things and do the data analysis yourself. And if you get stuck, you can always ask for help. So if you find yourself feeling like you might be tempted to plagiarize, it might be tempted to copy either another student or something online, copying resources online is also plagiarism. Reach out. That is the perfect opportunity to ask for help. The reason that most students copy something is because they are just utterly stuck, or they're really worried about their grade and they are backed into a corner. So please ask for help if you feel like you are tempted to plagiarize, because that is a bad place to be. And it is very easy to take a step back and not do that. If you plagiarize, if you copy somebody else's stuff, that will be treated as a violation of the Academic Integrity Code, and it will be subject to certain penalties, like receiving a 0 on this assignment, receiving a 0 on, actually receiving a 0 for the entire class, I'm sorry. And that might also go on your transcript that you have cheated in a class. So please ask if you're not sure, okay? That's totally fine to do. So for your participation grade and discussion, on a lighter note, what is required for you, just to review, is that you meet with your group for at least 30 minutes on Zoom during discussion weeks. You record that meeting, you upload it to the discussion board so I can see that everybody was there and that you're talking about chemistry, and that each group member posts takeaways from the meeting on the discussion board. That's all you need to do to get your grade. So extra stuff that you can decide to do as a group, which I highly recommend, is say after that 30-minute meeting, if you all do not finish what you came to do, you stay for longer and you talk longer and collaborate longer. That's totally fine. You can meet more than once. You don't have to meet once a week, or you can meet with fewer group members. So say maybe 2 of you want to get together and talk more about what you're doing. Only 2 of you can meet. It doesn't have to be the whole group. Another thing that you can do is you can collaborate outside of Zoom. So if you want to set up like a group chat, say on GChat or Discord or Snapchat or whatever your preferred method of communication is, email, texting, I don't care, you can do that. That can be really helpful to communicate outside the classroom. That might also help decrease the length of your meeting time when you're meeting on Zoom, is if you kind of get some of the stuff worked out ahead of time in a group chat. And then you can also, if say your group is just really stuck and you're not sure that these things are working out, you can ask your professor or your teaching assistant to come to your group discussion meeting and help you guys. So I would be happy to attend. Dr. Ka can attend for her section. Cade, your teaching assistant, could also come to your group meeting and help you guys out. So please ask when you need assistance, and just study together. That's essentially what these discussion groups are for. So these groups are a starting place for you all as students to get comfortable working with each other and meeting each other. And my hope for you is that you take these discussion groups and you turn it into something that really works for you and your classmates and really helps you with this class. So it is a social outlet that is based around this class to help you all be comfortable working together. And I hope that you have fun with it and that you guys take it in whatever direction you want to take it and be creative with it so that it really does help you out with this class. Okay, so here's just, again, a brief overview of what's going on if you want to see, again, when we're having discussion weeks. And this will be underneath the video so you can see it whenever you need. So every other week, just about, we're having discussions. Now, as you are discussing things with your group members, you might want to collaborate, and some of you might be on Zoom, obviously, so you might need some collaboration tools. You guys have a really wonderful collaboration tool right here in the form of your iPad. It is a fantastic collaboration tool on the internets. So one of the things that you can do is you can actually write on the same document simultaneously. So there are 2 apps to do that I found. One is Jamboard, which is a Google app. These are both free, by the way. So you can download this. Say you want to write something like an equation, y equals mx plus b, and this is shared with another group member. Your group member can see in real time what you're writing and they can write back on the exact same page here. So Scribble Together and Jamboard both do those things. And then we have your chat room. So like I said, Discord and GChat and Google are really good places for you to have like just a text chain running kind of like all week long. That can be really helpful. Electronic writing. So the idea here is to hook up your iPad to your computer so that the people can see what you're writing. One way to do that is to use these apps here, either Notability or OneNote. So I really like Notability. Sorry, I think I hit the mic there. I really like Notability because it easily exports to Google Drive. And unlike OneNote, it keeps all of your notes kind of on a single page. OneNote has this infinite scrolling feature so that like when you write, and if you keep writing, it just makes the page bigger and bigger and your writing like shrinks. And to me personally, that's really annoying when I'm grading things. So I prefer Notability, and I prefer that you guys have Notability. That being said, Notability is $10 and OneNote is free. So I will let you decide which one you want to use, but I highly suggest Notability. Okay, and then we also have screen sharing on Zoom, so I'm going to show you how to do that here. All right. Let me share my desktop with you. Cool. Okay, so you should be able to see what I'm seeing. Let me get out of this. Escape. All right. So on Zoom, if you go up here to this green thing, you'll hit New Share. And it's going to pop open this menu for you. And you have these two options here. You can connect an iPhone or iPad via AirPlay, which is Bluetooth, or you can connect it via cable. I'm going to connect via cable. I've got mine hooked up right here, and it's connected via USB to my computer. All right, so now you can see my iPad screen. So this is a really nice thing for you all to use when you are in groups in particular and you want to share your screen with other people. So I can go straight into Notability and I can write right here, hi everyone. And everybody can see that as I'm writing. So that's a really good collaboration tool when you're on Zoom. All right. Okay, so I think that's all that I wanted to share with you. If you have other tools, if there are other things that you want to work with and you've used them before and you want to share that with the class, please go to the discussion board for the entire chemistry lab and share that. So be a friend, be nice to people, and if you have something that works, share it. That way everybody else can use it too and hopefully use it to help with their discussions. All right, see you in the next video.